Hello, and welcome to this presentation about the International Postgraduate Certificate of Education, the IPGC, at the University of Derby Online Learning. My name is Andy Bloor, and I'm the Programme Lead. Just a little bit about me then. So I have over 25 years worth of educational experience in both secondary, primary, special, and as an advisory teacher. For the last decade or so, I've been in higher education, and I've been at the University of Derby since 2017. My specialisms are special educational needs and inclusion and international and comparative education. Dr. Nick Joseph is the Assistant Programme Lead. He has taught for a number of years at the University of Derby in both Education Studies and Childhood and Youth, as well as two PGC programmes. He himself has a background in history, both as a secondary teacher and as having a doctorate in history. His research interests are the history of education, and he is a supervisor for both doctoral and master's students as well as undergraduates. Another member of our team is Dr. Nicholas Boskill, who, as well as being a senior fellow of the HEA, also has many years of experience in universities. He's worked in the field in China, in the UK, and has international and national research projects around technology and learning. So what about education at Derby in particular? Well, firstly, we have over 30 years of educational experience. The University of Derby was actually founded as a Church of England teacher training university, but has expanded to be so much more than that. The Government Inspectorate, Ofsted, has found us outstanding in both primary and further education and good in secondary education. We have an Institute of Education within the Arts, Humanities and Education faculty, and the Institute of Education is dedicated to all things education, including initial teacher education. We at the University of Derby are well-respected academics who are often working with alongside the government and other international organisations, and we feel well positioned to be experts in the international PGCE. At the moment, we are working with government very closely on international qualified teacher status, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on in this presentation. So what is the IPGCE? Well, it's a 12 to 18 month program, so you can do it in 12 months or you can take up to 18. You study 3 modules, that's 1 per term, from September to December, from January to April, and from May to the end of July or beginning of August. The IPGC was set up to provide the foundations of good professional understanding of practice. We feel that it complements any teacher qualification in your own country and is a way of getting a master's level qualification in education. The IPGC is aimed at teachers and educationists who want an academic grounding at level 7, master's level. It is useful for those that want a good subject knowledge and confidence to enable them to apply for future progression and promotion in education. And it's a fantastic way of getting that first step onto a master's degree. Indeed, the IPGC has been specifically designed to dovetail into our online master's program. So if you undertake the IPGC and pass it, you can then progress straight into the second year of a master's, and then you complete your third year and you have also an MA in education. There are certain things you need to bear in mind before you apply. So you need to be working in an educational setting where you are routinely planning for, teaching and assessing children. We can have you with any age group from 3 up to 18, but this isn't suitable if you're working in a university with adults. You are going to need to engage with the unit activities. There are 10 units per module, and we advise you to spend around 20 hours a week working on the program. Now, those 20 hours won't just be about you sitting in front of a computer typing things, but it will be about reading. It will also be about time to think, reflect, and draw together your ideas. At the end of the unit, you'll be asked to do an assessment, which is a 4,000-word assignment. Now, this will take time, and you don't have a lot of time from week 10 through to the end of the assessment, so you do need to have the time to set aside to do that. The qualification does not currently give you any formal qualified teacher status. You'll need to gain this in your home country. However, we are working towards that, and we'll give you some more information about that later on. If you do live and work in the UK, or you come to work in the UK, then we can advise you on a suitable route, and one of those could be the assessment only route, which is one of the things that we do offer at the University of Derby. As I said, we are currently working with the English government on international qualified teacher status, which is a process that they are hoping to bring in fully implemented in September 2022 onwards. Now, we are hoping that in the next few months we are going to be able to provide some information on that, and we are hoping that we're going to be part of the pilot study, which will be in January 2022. You can find more information about that and sign up if you're interested at the link at the bottom of the page. So what are you going to study on the IPGCE? Well, first of all, it is at postgraduate level and it is over a year. We have entry points in September, January and May. As I've said already, we have a track record of engaging with the English government, and we would not be in such a strong position in terms of international qualified teacher status if we didn't have such a strong reputation in the IPGCE. Myself and your teaching team have international experience and global community experience because we recognise that you are a global community. You'll be working with students from all over the world, some who'll be in the same locality as you, the same country, maybe in the same town or city. But there'll also be other students who'll be all over the world, and that will give you a very rich experience with which to place the work that you're doing in your home country and the work that you do in the course in context. The University of Derby has extensive experience in online education. For over 20 years, we have been working with students all over the world, and including in the UK, to provide high quality subject that is driven by a thorough understanding of online pedagogy. Indeed, we have a member of staff who has been awarded the recognition of a teaching fellowship in the UK, which is quite a rare thing, in specifically online pedagogy. Our courses are designed and taught by people who are passionate about online learning. They are not just on-campus courses transferred into an online platform. They are specifically designed and specifically delivered with online learners in mind. You are supported in your own setting and your own time zone. And we recognise that you are all going to be working alongside the course. So the course is flexible. It allows you to work at weekends, evenings, and it gives you flexible support that fits with your life. It's a 60 credit module, so you get 20 credits at each of the 3 modules, and that gives you 60 credits at level 7 or master's level. You can see there that you have 2 core courses, the curriculum design development and research informed practice, and then you have an optional, so you can choose either inclusive practice or innovative 21st century teaching. Either of those 2 optionals will support you moving into the master's degree if you wish to. We do reserve the right to change these modules and will at some point be doing what's called a revalidation where we change the course, but at all times our core principle is creating the course that is best suited to you and the developing international educational market. Where you join the course will determine in which order you study the modules because the modules are time locked rather than sequential. So what that means is that when you start the course, you will be working alongside people who, like you, are in their first module. For some people, it will be their second module, and for some people, it will be their third and final module. So in autumn, you start with research informed practice, you then move on to your optional module, and then in the summer, you study curriculum design development. If you come in the spring, then you'll start with your optional module. In the summer term, you'll do curriculum design development, and then your last module in the autumn will be research informed practice. And then, of course, if you join us in the summer, you'll start with curriculum design development, move on to research informed practice in the autumn, and then in the spring, your final module will be your optional. So as I said, each 20 credit module is made up of 10 units of work, and each unit looks at a particular aspect of whatever that module is looking at. We also build in time to support you with your final assignment. You'll be working collaboratively online with discussions as well as a journal, and your tutor will be frequently commenting on the work that you post online. We'll also be giving you some webinars where you'll be able to look at a presentation from us and talk to us either synchronously or asynchronously. And at the end of the whole module, you have a 4,000 word written assignment, which could be an essay or it could be a report, and that will be your final summative assessment. So what's involved in each of the modules? The Curriculum Design and Develop module, which runs in the summer, thinks about what is a good curriculum, how is it built, who influences it, who has the decision-making processes around it. And throughout the whole module, we ask you to keep a reflective journal, and then at the end of the module, we ask you to draw on that and the activities you've done to create some sort of development that you'll be doing within curriculum in your school or setting. Research Informed Practice in the autumn looks at the ethical issues around integrity of research and education. Halfway through it, we ask you to produce a plan for your assignment, and then the final fully fledged assignment is at the end of the course. We look at things like the ontology and epistemology of research. We ask you to think about paradigms. We ask you to think about the difference between positivist and anti-positivist research. But this module is not about you undertaking research. This module is about how you use research that is already in the field to inform the practice that you do in the classroom. In the spring, you have one of two optional modules to choose from, the first of which is Innovative 21st Century Teaching. And this looks at what it means to use 21st century skills, tools, digital tools and services. It asks you to look at things like networking technologies and think about the way in which we connect as communities. It asks you to think about issues of equality and parity in different settings. You'll look at things that might be along the lines of strategies for developing creativity, how you develop supportive technologies, and how, in essence, you create something that shows that you are an innovative 21st century teacher. The other optional module that you can look at is Inclusive Practice. And this thinks about the barriers of teaching and learning that our children face, how children have all sorts of different needs, and thinks about the sort of support that we can give to them. And for the assignment, you are asked to do a short intervention with a child with a particular need, and then to reflect on that intervention. At the end of the course, we hope that if you haven't already got it, that you will aim to get qualified teacher status, either with the new incoming award from the English government of International QTS, or something that is specific to your own country, or if you are in and come back to the UK, something that is specific to the UK setting, so something like, for example, the assessment only route. You may wish to pursue a further academic career, so you may wish to go on to study a master's degree and potentially even a doctorate, the PhD, or if you want, the educational doctorate, the very specific subject-based taught doctorate. But ultimately, we hope that this course will give you the confidence to apply for a future career in education that goes beyond where you are. It might be that getting qualified teacher status is the next step into you becoming a fully accredited teacher in your country. It might be that the process actually allows you then to go on and progress into a further promoted role. But whatever it is, at the end of the course, we hope that you will know why you do what you do and how to identify the best practice in your setting so that you can always be a research-informed teacher. This just gives a little example of the sort of things we're looking at. So over on the top left, you'll see that we've got an issue around curriculum, and we've got a little infographic there that you work through. We've also got, as you can see in the second one, information from England, Thailand, and Australia. So we give you information about international education, but also you draw from your colleagues on the course and their settings. And together this creates a socially constructed learning environment that is truly international. The top right image there shows you UDO, which is our learning environment, where you can find all the information in a one-stop shop that you need, from the Union of Students through to academic guidance, through to the course resources that we use. And we also use multimedia, so as you can see the bottom there is an example of a video that we use talking about curriculum change. We are a global student body. We draw students from all over the world, and we are very proud of that. And part of what we do as a team is work flexibly in working hours. We don't just work the Monday to Friday. We do work into weekends and evenings so that we can work in your time zone and with you. We have a physical campus here in Derby, in the centre of England, but we also have a virtual campus. and hopefully you will feel part of our virtual community. All the things that are on student campus access, like our career service, like our wellbeing service, like our library, are accessible to you as online students. We've created a virtual space for you to study and work. And not just that, a virtual space for you to work with your colleagues on the course in a more informal manner. We have, for example, what we call the cafe area. And it's like a cafe would be on campus. It's a chance for you to talk to people, chat about things that are other than just the course. So about your professional life, swap resources maybe. We do ask you to protect around 20 hours a week for your study. And that is absolutely what you will need. Some students say, well, we're only assessed on the final 4,000 words, so I'll just read the resources and do the assignment. Well, you can do that, but in my experience, those students are always the ones that get the lower qualifications, just scraping through a pass, as opposed to those students that really fly through and do outstanding assignments and really set a bedrock for future study. We ask you to regularly engage with each other, but you also get the opportunity to regularly engage with us as your tutors. Everybody is placed into a tutor group, and those tutor groups always no more than 35 students. We have a learning portal that we ask you to check regularly, and we ask you also to check your university emails regularly. We communicate with you through announcements and through emails. And we always advise you, don't leave your assignment to the last minute. The students that always do best are those that are thinking about the assignment from day one and are starting to read and think about the assignment through the lens of the different units of work, so that ultimately when you get towards the assignment, at least in your head, you've almost half written it. So how is it structured? Well, we first of all have a discussion forum. All the learning activities you do are on the forum or in the personal learning journal. And as well as the cafe forum I mentioned, an informal space to chat to your colleagues in the course, we also have a thread for frequently asked questions where you can ask those broader questions about the programme. We ask you to use emails through the University of Derby, so through your university email account. The problem we've got is that if you use Gmail, Outlook or any other forms, then sometimes those can get directed straight into our spam filters and we can miss important messages. So all the communication we give to you will be through your Unimail account, and we ask that all the information you give to us is through your Unimail account. You can normally expect a response from us within 2 working days, and in the UK a working day is Monday to Friday. Occasionally you might get a response outside those times, but that should be seen as an exception rather than the rule. We also do live sessions once a week, so for an hour a week your tutor will be in a live space where you can just drop in, say hi, have a chat through anything that you might be thinking about, some queries about your assignment, or something about the work that we've done that week that you don't quite get. We can also do one-to-one sessions if necessary. We also, in terms of our 1 hour a week, we move them around the week and at different hours. So you should hopefully be able to access at least one of the sessions with your tutor a week. We do once a week, one of the tutors will do a live webinar, and that will be recorded so you can access it after the time if you want, or you can come to the live session and then you get a chance to ask questions afterwards. Those are a great opportunity for us to not give you content that's, absolutely core to what you're doing, but it's an opportunity for us to discuss something that's exciting us within whatever we're looking at that week in the unit. So it's always linked to the unit of work, but it's never an absolutely integral part that you can't miss or you'll have missed out on something. It's always very much an added to, something to extend your thinking. We also, of course, give you group support through the discussion boards where we talk to you about the work that you've put there and the comments you've put on your work and the work that you've done with your colleagues. And if need be, we can also do telephone meetings or virtual meetings over Teams or in Collaborate Ultra, which is the space we use in our virtual learning environment. You'll get academic support from me as the program lead, from the module leader, who is overall control of each of the different modules. So at the moment, for example, I module lead the Inclusive Practice module. You'll also have a personal tutor, and each personal tutor will be allocated to you for each module. So you won't have the same tutor throughout the course, but you will have an individual bespoke tutor for each module you work in. We've also got a team of online learning advisors who give you non-academic support, so things like finance, enrolment, and if, for example, you wanted to interrupt the program or you had some queries about the way in which the program is structured. As I mentioned, you can also access all the things that we have for our on-campus students, such as student wellbeing if you're struggling with something personally or you have a learning need. We have our library, our careers and our union of students. And from every cohort, we ask for a student representative who can represent the students' views on that particular cohort to this program committee. You have, of course, also got your fellow students. We currently average around 250 students per term, so at any one time there's going to be a whole range of different students who you're going to be working with. At the university you can access Microsoft Office 365 for free, and you also get a terabyte of cloud storage through OneDrive. And of course you have 24/7 access to the student portal and the virtual learning environment, and of course also the IT services to provide you with support should anything go wrong or should you not be able to link in for some reason from your end. Within the library we have a reading list, and all the reading list items are available as ebooks. We have the library service and Library Plus, so you can access academic journals. You can also access support from subject librarians. There are live sessions conducted by the library team to give you full use of that, as well as give you study support in general things like, for example, building critical engagement. Each module will have core and recommended reading. That doesn't mean you've got to read the whole thing, but it does mean that you've got a starting point, so you can look at a book and go that yes, that's a good robust book, and it's a good starting point for getting ideas about your assignment. And as I said, we have subject librarian expertise at hand as well. So we have subject expertise in study skills, but also a subject librarian for education. Here's an example of some of the e-learning books we've got. As you can see, we've got the Spivak, we've got a particular theorist, but we've also got things that are broader. So the Delentny book, looking at difference, looking at LGBT plus inclusion, as well as the Bourne and the Rahir and Wiseman books, which are broader, looking at education in an international setting. We also have graduation on campus, and whilst we can't pay for your airfares, you are very, very welcome to come and graduate with us on campus. It's great to see people who we've only ever seen as pictures or discussion boards or at the end of video, standing on that stage in their academic gown, getting their IPGCE. There really is nothing to beat it. And if you want to come and join us on campus for your graduation, you are very, very welcome. I certainly enjoyed dressing up in my robes for that occasion. So what about the next steps? If you've thought about this and thought, actually, this sounds fantastic, you need to go onto the website. The website for the IPGCE, the address is there at the bottom of the page. You need to think about the entry criteria. There's information about course fees there. You can pay per module or you can pay the whole lot up front. So we do have payment plans. And you do need to make sure that you meet the deadlines for course intake. Because this is a popular program, we do have to close dead on the course closure. And if we have many more students than we anticipated, we do sometimes have to close the course earlier than that. So please, if you are interested in coming in a particular intake, do apply as soon as you can. Finally, if you've got any general inquiries, you can contact udol-inquiries@derby.ac.uk. If you've got any very specific inquiries about the content of the course, then you can contact me at a.law@derby.ac.uk. Or we've got a postal address there, a telephone number which is staffed from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. in London time. Or you can go to derby.ac.uk/online to learn more about online learning and particularly about the courses we offer, including the IPGCE. I do hope you found this useful and informative, and we look forward to welcoming you at the University of Derby Online Learning and joining with us on the journey towards you being a master's level teacher.